Hello and welcome to Disney Travel Tales, a podcast that allows you to immerse yourself in someone's recent Disney trip. I'm Jenny, and I'm so happy to be here with you talking about my favorite thing, Disney trips. Join us every Friday as we explore the parks or cruise ships with a new guest and learn inside tips and tricks to hopefully help make your vacation go a little smoother. Make sure to subscribe to the show wherever you are listening so you never miss a new episode, and I would love it if you left a positive review on Apple Podcast or Spotify. This is the easiest way to support the podcast. Another way to support the podcast is to use me as your travel agent at no cost to you. Email me at jenny@trolleylanetravel.com. Let me do all the hard planning while you sit back and count down the days to your vacation. Okay, so let's get going with today's show. Hello and welcome. You are listening to episode number 96, and I am here with Beth, and she is going to share with us her trip report for visiting Disney World in October, and they went to Mickey's Not So Scary and all kinds of fun stuff. So, hi Beth, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me again, Jenny.
Excited to have you back on. Beth is a third-time guest, which I love. You're becoming an expert.
I know.
At Disney and podcasting.
Oh, hopefully. I'm not sure about that.
So, in case the listeners don't know, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your experience with Disney vacations?
Okay, my name is Beth. I have a daughter, Zoe, who's 12 now, and my husband, Ron. And we had our first Disney World trip last November, and then I kind of caught the bug and scheduled Disneyland in June, and then Disney World again for this October.
Very exciting. Okay, so why don't we just start? What were the dates of your trip?
Okay, our dates were October 18th through the 23rd, and it was our fall break.
Nice. And what resort did y'all stay at?
We stayed at Coronado Springs.
Awesome. Okay, so let's just start on day one. What was that like?
Let's see. We flew Southwest, which we normally do, and the flight was at 10:55. I had to have my daughter miss that day because she actually wasn't off till Thursday, but the flight times were so crummy that I learned last fall when we had a flight that got in, I think it was supposed to get in at 10 p.m. It was delayed till like midnight. And so I was like, we are not doing that again or chancing that. So our arrival time was 4:30 p.m. and we didn't have any delays or anything this time.
That's
It was
awesome.
a miracle. And we changed planes in Dallas. We hardly ever get a direct flight from here. We live in Tulsa. I don't know if I said that before. So I had done the check-in like maybe a couple days before online, and then I think you said you had requested a certain building for us through touring plans. So we ended up getting the Casitas, and we were in number 5, which was really close to the bus pickup. And it was just really close to the bridge that goes straight to the tower or straight to the pool.
I would have to go back and look. I actually did the touring plans room request. And then did you ever do the notes on the My Disney Experience for the room request?
I can't remember. When I don't think I did like a chat for it, but when I checked in, it's just the usual. They ask you your preference of like having your room ready or having like the floor that you want or near a bus stop. I think I said near transportation, and we ended up getting on the 3rd floor, which they had elevators, so it wasn't that bad. So the room was ready. I think it was about 5 o'clock when I got the alert that it was ready. And from the airport, we decided to take a lift this time. We had had some trouble with the Mir shuttle last time taking so long and having to walk really far to find it and stuff like that. So this was really simple. We do have to take the little airport monorail to get to the luggage pickup, but then the lift pickup is just right outside the door there. And we probably had to wait 10 minutes or so on the curb, and there were just so many pickups going on. So it wasn't a super long drive. There was a little traffic because it was right around rush hour, but it was probably like 30 minutes maybe. And then we decided to go ahead and go to the lobby because they drop you off at the tower and they don't really let you drive around, be dropped off at your building, unfortunately. And I had also ordered groceries, and I believe I did Amazon Fresh a 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. drop off, and they were not ready yet. So I was kind of like, I wishing I should have done the 4 to 6 p.m., but I wasn't sure how that would work out. So we didn't have the groceries yet. We talked to a cast member, and there were a bunch of cast members just milling around. You didn't really have to wait at the counter. They just came to you, which was nice. And her name was Bethany, which was unusual. I usually don't run into many other Bethanies. Mm-hmm. And we found out Ron's magic band wasn't linked properly, so she was messing around with that and helped us out. And then she said that when our groceries came, we could have the Bell Services take us with the groceries and the luggage over to our room, but sadly the groceries weren't there yet, so we decided to go to dinner since we hadn't eaten. So I just checked on the app, and Three Bridges had to walk up, and it was like 5 or 10 minute wait. It was basically ready like as we were walking out of the main lobby. And so we just walked over there and were seated almost immediately. But the service was super slow. Like, we got our table really fast, but then it was like, okay, where's our drinks? Where's our food? And so it probably took 90 minutes or something sitting there. And still I was waiting on our groceries. And the groceries ended up being delayed like an hour.
Wow.
It was really, like, you could see, you can track them on the app, and like you could see him going to each resort, and he'd be there for so long doing multiple drops, I guess. So finally he made it to ours, and I never did get the alert. Like, I could see he was at Coronado Springs. I was like, okay, but I never got your groceries are here. It was really weird. So anyway, the dinner was really yummy, and we got like the sangria flight to try, and those are pretty good. I'm not really a wine drinker, but they were like fruity enough that I could like drink some, and my husband drank the majority of it. And then Zoe was able to kind of cobble together her kids meal, even though she's over 10. She always orders off the kids menu, and so she like wanted mac and cheese and french fries and chips and queso, and so they brought her just like a little tray with a little bowl of each, and it was really cute.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. She kind of was able to make her own meal. And then Ron and I shared, they had like a bao bun with, I think, pork in it, but it was like not like the ones at Disneyland or like the tiki room area where they're like, encased in a little bun. Mm-hmm. It was just like the same fluffy bun part, but it was like a little taco shape. It was really good. but they only came with 2, so it was really small.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also shared like a carnitas taco dish. So that was good. And Ron ended up staying there while I took Zoe to the room, and he was going to wait for the groceries and then go get them. But Zoe wanted to go swimming. We didn't have our stuff because we left all of our luggage with Bell's services. So we basically all met at the lobby, and at that time the groceries were finally there, and one of the Bell Services guys he had like a 3-bench golf cart with, room on the back, like a little trailer area for the luggage. And so he put everything on there. But I wasn't paying attention, and when we got to a room, I realized there's only 1 bag of groceries. I'm like, there has to be more than this. I had ordered quite a few things, and we were basically missing all of the cold storage items. And so I guess they had already put away our items in 3 different places,
Mm-hmm.
the shelf stuff, a freezer thing, a fridge thing, and they were all separated, and they just grabbed 1 bag that they found first, probably. And I didn't catch it until we had already dropped off everything, tipped the guy, all of this, and he was actually really helpful, and he was answering any questions we had about how late is the pool open, and how early should we go to the bus stop, stuff like that. He was really friendly, and so Ron ended up going back to the lobby and getting it because they charge you, I think it's $6 every time they bring stuff to your room for you like that. And so he went and got it, and Zoe ended up being too tired by the time we got all of our stuff in the room to go to the pool. So we're just going to do that in the morning, because I had planned a slow day on Thursday since we were doing the Mickey's Not So Scary. So that was that.
So real quick, what was your impression of Coronado Springs?
It's humongous. I don't know. The lobby is very pretty and everything. The rooms were kind of more of a standard hotel room out in the small buildings. And it was nice. You get more space than, say, one of the value resorts in your room. And there's a huge countertop dresser area. So I emptied all our stuff into there since we were just staying put this time, and then was able to stow away the suitcases. So that helped a lot. We had a double sink, which was nice for getting ready. One annoying thing was it had the sliding doors between the bathroom, and so it was kind of hard to be quiet when you're going in and out at night. And then it had this automatic trigger that turned on the bathroom fan when you went into the bathroom.
Oh, that's weird.
It was really weird. And even if you're just entering the vanity part, not the toilet part, it comes on and it's really loud. So I was constantly shutting that off. The main issue was the transportation. If you want to take a lift, you have to go all the way to the main building, which is a pretty good walk.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did have some trouble with the buses coming earlier than it said on the app. And so we'd be just entering the parking lot when it's pulling away or something like that, and just miss it. And then you have to wait sometimes 20 minutes for the next one. So I don't know. I made some mistakes with just when should we take a lift, when should we take the bus situations, and trying to squeeze in too much.
Mm-hmm.
But the pool was really nice. We didn't use it as much as I wanted to because we were squeezing in too much park time. So it would be really nice to have more of a full day at the resort, or multiple afternoons. But it was just, it's not really close to any of the parks. It wasn't more than a 10 or 15-minute bus ride, but the main issue was we were on actually the first bus stop, which was nice, but then you're on it for the other stops, so you're guaranteed to get a spot on the bus, which is good. But it was usually a 10-minute loop to get the other stops, and there were 3 after ours.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it took 15 or more if there's like a wheelchair loading or a scooter. So, yeah, so that was frustrating some of the time. You have to just build in an extra 20 minutes basically and make sure you're going to get through that.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, we're still at the resort.
Yeah.
Okay, we're finally leaving. And then it would be really fast to get to the parks after that. So, yeah, there's pluses and minuses for sure. And we didn't get to try all the restaurants. We tried out the food court and Three Bridges. We didn't do like the rooftop bar and all of that, which would be really cool if you're doing like an adult only trip or something. And then they had like a coffee bar in the lobby that turns into like a regular bar at night, I think. And that was really nice. We did eat at the food court the next morning. And we got just like Mickey waffles and a breakfast sandwich. But unfortunately, I got sick after breakfast.
Oh, no.
Yes. It was really weird. That, like, never happens to me. Like, I have not thrown up since I was pregnant 12 years ago.
Oh, my gosh. That's impressive.
I was like, what the heck? Yeah, it was weird. I got like a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, and I had like 2 bites, and I was like, I feel kind of weird. I don't really feel hungry anymore. And so after we ate, we went back to the room, and I was just brushing my teeth. I got so sick. It was weird.
That's
and
crazy.
I felt fine, like, after that. No other problems. But so I don't know if it was like my sandwich had been sitting out under the warmer too long or something, or I don't know. It was so strange.
That is strange.
Yeah. Thankfully, it didn't bother me after that. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Let me think. So on Thursday, that was the 19th. What I had scheduled was to like basically hang around the resort and swim, and then at 1:00 I had scheduled one of the like makeover people to come in that do it independently. And it was Fairy Tale Dreams, and I found her, I think, just on that cast member site that they started during COVID called Ear for Each Other, I think it is. And I had tried another one first who was either didn't respond or was busy for that day or something. And so this was kind of like the second one, and I just had to pay a deposit over Venmo, and I think it was, let's see, I think I had to pay a $50 deposit. Then I had to pay $70 that day.
Okay.
And she will do like hair, makeup, and nails. And she brought, like, she came directly to our room, and she brought all the stuff with her. And Zoe had kind of decided to do like a Maleficent bounding costume. We didn't really go crazy on the costumes. But she had like the purple like fake hair that she braided in, and she did like the bubble braids, and she mixed it with like a dark brown, and it was really cute. And then she did kind of like sparkly purple and black makeup, and she didn't end up doing her nails because she already had her nails done at home. But it probably took maybe an hour that she was in there.
Mm-hmm. I love this idea, especially for the Halloween party or any of the parties. This would be so fun to get your either your kid or yourself made up. I think that's really fun.
Yeah, I know. I thought about doing it myself, but I just didn't want to spend that much.
Yeah.
But I thought it would be fun because she's kind of like borderline age for like doing bibbidi bobbidi. Like I think she's the oldest you can be, but it's so hard to get in there. And then like, you know, they only do that one style basically, like the tight bun. And
yeah,
I didn't think she would like that. So I had seen several ideas online with the really cute braids and colorful hair and all of that. So I thought, and I surprised her, like I didn't tell her about it until the lady was right about to come.
Oh, that's
like,
fun.
It's gonna be kind of scary to just like let a random lady into our room for no reason. So I was like, okay, we have a surprise at 1. And she was kind of like, what? And then I finally was like, okay, you're going to get a makeover for the party. And she's like, what?
That's really fun. I love that idea.
Yeah, I think she ended up liking it. And I was kind of hoping she'd leave it for the next day, but she had used so many bobby pins, she couldn't get to sleep on it. So she was like, Mom, will you take out the braids? And so, and you keep all the stuff. So I have like this weird fake hair I had to bring home. So I could theoretically do it again. I don't know if I could do it like that, but she did it really cute. And then she also left like a little tiara that she normally would use, like if you're going to be a princess or something. She gave her that, and the lipstick she used she got to keep, and I think the mascara or something else from the makeup that was like, you know, dirty, and since she used it, she got to keep it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that was about 2 when that was done, and then Ron and I got ready pretty quick, and I decided to do like a tiki room costume, sort of. I just had like t-shirt and a skirt that I got on Etsy, and that was it. I was worried about the weather, but it ended up being really nice. Like we had 0 rain on our trip.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know, it was crazy. We pretty much had like low 80s most of the time. It did get pretty warm, like mid 80s on a couple of the afternoons, but during the party, I don't think it got below like 75 or 72 or something.
It's like perfect.
So we really didn't even need jackets or anything. Yeah, so that was nice. And then Ron was a Jungle Cruise skipper, and I just got him like a button-up shirt that was like Jungle Cruise print all over it, and he just wore like the bucket hats and some khaki shorts. So it was really simple. Let's see, what did we do? So I had planned to try to get there at 3:30, and we pretty much grabbed the bus at 3, and the internal bus loop took like almost 20 minutes for that night because it was like all party people. And then there was a huge line snaking around to get into the party. And we were not going to try for the big character lines. And I kind of asked Zoe a couple times, like, do you want to meet anybody in particular? And she's not super into character meetups, so I didn't want to mess with it. And she does use DAS, so this was our 3rd time getting that disability pass, and it was probably the easiest registration I've had. It was so fast. I couldn't believe it after waiting like multiple hours last year. And then the Disneyland one was a little bit easier. And then this one was like almost instantaneous that I clicked on the chat and they had a cast member there to do the video. It was amazing.
That is
But yeah, so we had that, which is you can use it during the party, and people are always asking about this, but you cannot use the scheduling part during the changeover from the park close to the party start, which is the same for everybody. Like the app is just like blank. There's no like ride time, so that's why you can't schedule any. So I had gone ahead and scheduled one for like 6:15, and what we ended up doing is getting in like pretty much right at 4 or 4:05 or something, because it was a huge line, but it started moving quickly. Like at 3:55 it started moving, and then they actually pulled only Zoe out for a security check this time, which was weird. And I think it's because she had her headphones with her this time. She brought her big Apple headphones to be like, in case she needed like a noise canceling. So she got checked and we were like waiting for her, and it was pretty hot in that line because it was just, zero shade out there, and it was kind of fun to see all the costumes, but like 30 minutes waiting there pretty much was like, ugh. And then like her favorite ride she always wants to do is Pirates, and it was down when we got in there, and so we ended up going over to Tomorrowland, and we did the People Mover, and then I saw Stitch on the little stage over there, and it was kind of fun because he was just on the stage posing behind the kids or the people, and so Zoe was willing to like stand there and smile and not have to like, interact with him that much. So that was kind of cute. And I really wanted to do the shows that I missed last time before the party started, but we went over to Carousel Progress and they were like, I'm sorry, it's down. I was like, what? This is ridiculous. And then, so I didn't get to do that, but I decided I had scheduled no meal. I was going to do quick service, so we didn't like waste a lot of time. But then I decided to try Skipper Canteen since Ron already had his Jungle Cruise outfit on. I thought that would be fun. And they actually had openings. I don't think they had any when I was like looking weeks ago, but they had a ton. And so like I just scheduled it for 5 or 5:05, and it was pretty good. It wasn't bad and it wasn't like amazing, but I just got the chicken dish, and then so we got her usual chicken strips, but like the kid version was a tiny bit different, and the dipping sauce was pretty good that came with mine. And then Ron got some shrimp, like shrimp and fried rice that he said was good. So that was probably about an hour in there. And then I had forgotten about Tron, and like the virtual queue starts at 6 for the party, and I just like happened to look at my phone. It was 6. I was like, oh my gosh, Tron. And I like click on the virtual queue thing, and it was already like, I got 2:02. Like it was way up there, and it was still 6 o'clock exactly, but I wasn't just like on it. And so I'm like, I don't know when that's going to be, but I was kind of like, I'll ride it if it's convenient, but I don't want to like stand there during the party and waste time waiting for it. And I didn't want to buy it for that day. So, let's see. We were able to ride Pirates before we did the dinner. And then after we did that, I scheduled the Jungle Cruise for after our dinner. So we rode that about 6:15, and then we decided to go over to Fantasyland, and we were still during the blackout hour. So, but we were able to walk on pretty much like 5 or 10 minutes onto Small World and Peter Pan. And I had never seen the Peter Pan queue because we always did the lightning lane. And so I was like, oh, everyone says this is so cute. Let's just go in the regular line. So
it is so cute.
Yeah, they have the little scenes. And
it's fun.
Yeah, and we probably had to wait like 10 minutes.
Which, that's really crazy to only wait 10 minutes. Like, so did the park not feel very crowded at this time?
It was weird. Like, it was super crowded 4 to 6, but by the time we got out of our dinner, it had thinned out to where the people were having to leave. And then, when we got over there, it wasn't very busy. Yeah, I don't know if people were, buying merch or getting the treats and stuff or what.
Characters.
Yes, in line for characters, true. Because there was like the Seven Dwarves and Jack and Sally, you can line up really early. So, that's probably what was going on. But I was surprised because I was like, oh gosh.
That's awesome though. 10 minutes, like I don't think I've ever seen that.
I know. Yeah, that was crazy. And then so by the time we got off, Peter Pan, so it said it was 45 minutes, but like I could see the line, was like no one in that outside, wraparound part. They were just walking like all the way through. So I was like, let's just try it. And it was like 10 minutes. So it was like, you can't really trust the posted time during the party at all. And so it was 7 by the time we got off, and I was able to schedule DAS again. So I scheduled Winnie the Pooh, and we went ahead and did some treat trails then, since they were open. And Zoe was really into that shit. They were using like gigantic ice scoops, like with candy. And she was like, oh my gosh. But the candy bags they gave us are so small.
Yeah.
So I have brought like these big Halloween sacks like from Target that they have, and whenever we get it in the little bag, I would just dump it into the big one.
That's smart.
And then I was able to fit the big one in my backpack. So I kind of hadn't planned on doing that many till the end, but she was like, we can eat candy right now. She was all about that.
Yeah.
So I was trying to catch like the first of all the shows, just to make sure we saw it in case we got too tired. So 7:40 was the first stage show, and we went ahead after we got off Winnie the Pooh. We just went straight over to that bridge that goes to the castle from Fantasyland, and we kind of meandered into the crowd and were able to like find some pockets to get kind of close enough to see the stage characters. So we were kind of off to the right, but we could hear and see pretty well, and that was cute. Somehow when we were standing there, I guess Zoe hurt her ankle, and she was like, Mom, my ankle popped. And I'm like, what? I thought she like maybe stepped on somebody's foot or a stroller or something like that. But she said she didn't know what happened. It was really weird. And then she was like limping around. I'm like, what in the heck? It was really weird. So that like plagued her the rest of the trip. But we ended up finally, like, by the time it was time for fireworks, Ron took her to the first aid and they gave her an ice pack and some Advil. But we were just like, you gotta be kidding me. You're just standing there and you hurt your ankle. But we did probably like, I don't know, we didn't do all the treat trails, but we did at least like 6 stops and just, got plenty of candy. I'm going to try to give it out for Halloween here because it's just like a
That's
lot.
smart.
Yeah. And we went by Cosmic Rays. She wanted to get a couple of the Halloween treats. I don't like the super sweet desserts that they have at Disney. And I was like, oh, I don't know. None of these sound awesome. But she wanted the zombie fingers and that green drink, which was like a sparkly kind of, I can't remember if it was kiwi or what.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like lime, kind of like a key lime flavor, but those were both at Cosmic Rays, so we stopped in there and got those, and she kind of, tried a little bit and was like, it's okay. So we kind of struggled to finish those.
Mm-hmm.
It was so sweet. The little zombie fingers were pretty good, but the whatever it was, pudding or something. It was like a key lime flavor. It was so tart. And then, but they were having that like dance party there. It was really cute. They had the Disney Junior characters. Vampirina and Fancy Nancy was there, and Timon. And then the DJ was really fun. And actually, when we first got there, Max was there doing like the Powerline songs.
Mm-hmm.
And then after he left, they did like a trivia game, and the DJ like divided the kids into two groups, and one was like on Fancy Nancy's team, and one was on Vampirina's team, and they were doing like Disney trivia, so that was cute.
That's really fun. I'm glad they're doing that for like the little kids.
Yeah, there were a lot of people in there too.
Mm-hmm.
And we were kind of sitting in the very back and just having a little break from standing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we were probably in there maybe 30 minutes or so. And then I had gotten a DAS for Haunted Mansion. It was, I think, about 8:45 by that point. And the standby said 40 minutes. I think we waited about 10. And they had some of the live actors in the queue, which was neat. And the guy that talked, he was like, it was like towards the beginning of the queue when you're still outside, but you're going under that portico thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he was supposed to be like the groundskeeper or something. And he was talking to us on the way in. That was kind of fun.
That's one of my favorite things at the Halloween party. I think they're so funny.
Yeah, I wish they would do more of that with the live actors in the queues. That was cool.
That's so fun. That would be well, sometimes they have live actors in the Pirates queue. Did y'all see any there?
Hey parents, do your kids listen to podcasts? Do they like solving mysteries and flexing their imaginations? Mysteries at Riddleton Elementary is a new children's mystery podcast. Your kid can join Billy Bonanza and Susie Sockington on exciting and wacky adventures as they attempt to solve mysteries around their school. Mysteries at Riddleton Elementary is available now on all podcast platforms.
We saw them at the end of the night when we did it. They were not in the queue, but they were like right outside.
Okay.
And they were like kind of joking around with people. And like there was one guy that came up to us and he was telling jokes to us, like pirate jokes. And then there was another group that were doing pirate advice. Like,
oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. So yeah, that was neat. We did get stalled on that for a little while, but we ended up going to the 9:15 parade, and we were back in Frontierland for that. We were on that bridge that's like the cutoff pathway, and it was just so packed. It was like kids climbing up on that little slanted wall that they're not supposed to be on and trying to look, and just like strollers were everywhere around us, and we were able to see pretty well. Yeah, so that was cute.
Did y'all like the parade?
I thought it was fun. We did see the Headless Horseman.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the floats were neat. The song was kind of getting on my nerves.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, it just goes on a loop like this over and over. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think Zoe liked it. She could see it pretty well. It was like, we were like right across from Liberty Tree Tavern.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did some more treat stops, and she wanted to ride Pirates again. And they even had treats like at the gift shop that they were handing out after that. And that's when we talked to the pirate outside. And
that's
then
so funny.
After that, it was pretty much time for the fireworks. So we made our way over there, and then Ron took Zoe to the first aid, and I kind of squished in like towards the back near Adventureland, but in the hub, and I could kind of see the Jack Skellington puppet thing,
Mm-hmm.
which was cool, but I was still like way back there, but it was fine for the fireworks and projections. I could see everything. So yeah, those were good. Let's see. Oh, like after that, Zoe really wanted to go back to the hotel, and we had seen pretty much all the shows we needed to, and she was kind of pooped out, didn't want to ride anything. And that was like right when the virtual queue was called Virtron. And I was like, oh gosh. So I just decided not to try it because we were going to go back to the Magic Kingdom on another day. So yeah, so we took we didn't do many of the photo pass shots, unfortunately. I don't know. We just kind of bypassed all the Main Street ones going in, and then after that, I didn't see, we could have done one at the Haunted Mansion, and I saw a few here and there, but we did a Main Street one on our way out.
So what were your overall thoughts about the Halloween party? Because this was your first time going, right?
Yes. It was fun. I don't know. It was really crowded for all the events. And so, it's great if you're going on rides and the ride times are low. But, the shows are super packed in the parade. Mm-hmm. And the treats, we did have to wait in line for every treat stop that we did, but they went really fast, so that wasn't too bad. So we really liked it. I think Ron and I prefer the Christmas party better, but he's not into Halloween. But it's really fun if you like dressing up and you like the villain characters and all of that. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of tough. It's just what is your preference for which holiday do you enjoy better normally, I guess?
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought they were both fun, but I think it was because the Christmas one just seemed more magical, and the weather was cold last year when we went too, so it was more seasonable, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, most of the Halloween parties are very hot temperature-wise. It's typically hot, so it's that's kind of the biggest downside in my opinion.
Yeah, it wasn't fall feeling. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really think it'd be fun to see what the Oogie Boogie Bash is like, because it seems so different than this one. But the decorations are fun and everything, and it's neat to see what people come up with for costumes.
Yes, some people go all out. I love looking at the costumes. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Or when they, like, groups are together and they do, like, a whole group costume. It's fun.
Yes. Yeah. We saw a lot of fun family-themed costumes.
When was the last time you visited a Disney park? For many adults, it's been a really long time. I would love to help you fix that situation. As a travel agent specializing in Disney, my job is to make sure your vacation can go as seamless as possible. All of my services are complimentary to my clients. Yes, you heard that right. I'm free to you. These services include helping you from the start finding the perfect resort to fit your needs, handling all the bookings and reservations, helping to teach you about the parks, because if it's been a while, man, have they changed. I have insider tips and tricks I share with all of my clients, and I will be your single point of contact throughout your entire trip, even while you are there. Don't wait another year to visit a Disney park or go on a Disney cruise. Let this be the year you finally go. Email me at jenny@trolleylanetravel.com to get the conversation started, or see the link in the show notes to fill out my quote form. All listeners that book a trip with me will receive a $20 gift card to use on their trip. Just make sure you say you heard this on the podcast. Okay, now back to the show.
Yeah, so that was the party day. The next day was Friday, and I had scheduled to do Epcot for the whole day. I ended up buying the individual lightning lane for Guardians. We hadn't done Epcot last year, so that was kind of like one of the main reasons why I wanted to go. And Ron and I hadn't been to Epcot since we were kids. We were just not doing the rope drop, or the early entry. It was just, I don't know. My family was dragging. I totally could have gone by myself and been fine. But I don't know. It is a 1 hour time change for us, but they just were not. They just wanted to lay in bed. So I was like, okay, I'll let them sleep. And I had made, I knew we were going to be up super late, but I still had made a brunch reservation for Garden Grill. And I made it almost at 10, thinking that'll be plenty of time to rest. But they were so tired. And so we were running really late. I basically let them sleep till 9. And then I was like, okay, we have to leave in 30 minutes. And so I roused them up, and we had trouble getting the Epcot bus. It was late, and I think once again we had just missed it, and they weren't sending that many at that point. And so we were running super late. So we didn't get there until basically 10:30 that we walked in up to the counter, and I was just like, I don't know if they're gonna seat us. I was freaking out, and he was just really nice. The cast member was like, okay, what's your party's name? How many? He's like, all right, just come with me, and they seated us immediately. So
that's so nice, and especially with y'all being a party of 3, it's kind of easier for them to seat y'all. So yeah,
it was, and we were at least 30 minutes late, maybe even 40. But that was a really cute meal. The characters were really, really good interaction. And I had kind of secretly scheduled this because my daughter was like, no character meals. But my husband actually likes the characters. And so I was like, well, we can do one. And she can just kind of, not take a picture or whatever. She doesn't want to. But it was really cute. It was Chip and Dale and Pluto, and then Mickey in his little farmer overalls. And they all came by pretty quickly. Like, we hadn't seen Dale, I think, and one of the cast members or like the manager or somebody came around and was like, have you seen all the characters? And we're like, oh, we're still waiting on Dale. And he's like, I'll make sure he comes over here right away. Like, they were just really attentive.
That's great.
The waiter was great. His name was Bob, and he was like joking around with my daughter the whole time. And it was the like all you care to enjoy family style food. It was like really good, just like breakfast food, just like bacon and eggs and hash browns and this really good like kind of monkey bread or sticky bun thing that Zoe liked, and he kept bringing like pans of this, and we're like, we can't eat all this food. Like, if it looked like we were almost done with something, he'd bring like a whole skillet of it.
Yeah,
and we're like, okay, this is a lot.
Oh yeah, that all you can eat, all you care to enjoy, as they like to call it. It is a lot of food, and they make sure you always have food. Like, you'll never run out of food.
So much.
You have to tell them to stop.
I know, like, okay. And that restaurant, like, slowly rotates. It's around the Living with the Land ride, but it's, like, on the top floor, like, above it. And the restaurant doesn't seem very big, but, like, I don't think we even made it all the way around by the time we were done. We hadn't made one rotation because it went pretty fast. But the characters, Mickey came by kind of fast. I didn't even get a chance to take a picture with him because I didn't like hop up. But I had brought my little Mickey. I had the little new emo Mickey, and I brought him and like set him on the table, and he was like pointing at him and talking about how he grew all the food and stuff like that. And Pluto came by twice, and the second time he like sat down by my daughter in the empty chair and like pretended like he was taking a nap and resting. It was so cute. So that was really fun, and they brought us like to-go drinks and all of this stuff. They were really nice. So that ended up working out. I had done the advanced DAS rides for Living with the Land since I knew we were going to be there. And then the other one I did was Figment, I think. So we went and did Living with the Land. Zoe thought it was really boring, but I thought it was interesting. And that was like one of the only ones I remember from when I was a kid too. The like dangling vegetables and stuff.
I love that ride. My kids don't like it either, but I love it. I just think it's so, I like that it's long. So it's like, you get to sit down for a bit. Yeah.
It's informative and
yes.
Yeah, and they had a lot of new stuff, obviously, with like than 20 years ago that they've, had innovations, which was cool. So we did that, and then we went back to do the Nemo ride. That was cute. But she didn't want to look around the aquarium. I was kind of like, are you sure you don't want to see any of these? She's like, no, I want to do another ride. Like, okay. And so we went to do Figment, but the ride was down. And but Figment was doing his meet and greet, and I knew Ron really wanted to do the Figment meet and greet. And so we hopped in line, and he even like took a break before we got there, and he went back in his little tunnel. And he's just so funny looking, but
he is so funny looking.
He took like a really short break, so I don't know if they like swapped him out or what was going on.
Yeah,
he just got a drink of water or something, but he came back out and within like 5 minutes and started up again. And so we did a bunch of pictures with him, and Ron had a Figment on his shirt, and So he was like pointing to that, and the cast members were like, "Oh, I love your shirt." I got him kind of like this like retro looking Epcot shirt on Etsy with Figment and Mickey. Like, I think they had like the space suits on. It was funny.
That's cute.
So we were there for like a long time because after we did the meet and greet, then Zoe wanted to buy a Figment. She was all of a sudden like, I love Figment. I need a stuffed animal. I was like, are you serious? So she was going to blow her souvenir money on that. And she also got this like one of those plush hats that's like a Figment head with like Velcro, you know, that's under your chin. And like I saw a bunch of them. If you watch the Tokyo Disneyland, like all the guests have this big plush head thing on. And so she was like, oh, I really want this. She bought those. And then after that, the other character in that building was Joy, and she was meeting like right across from Figment kind of. And so we met her just because there was no line, and she was just standing there. I was like, oh no one's meeting her. Let's go do a picture. Felt bad. So we did that. And I think, I don't know what Zoe was doing, but Ron and I did a picture by ourselves with her, and then Zoe wanted to do one with her. So we did all these pictures in there. And we also did some pin trading in there with the cast member that had the pin board. And then finally when we left, the ride was back up and we were able to do that. So we were over there for so long. And then the ride was so funny. It was like cheesy, but
it's interesting.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it was so weird. So after that, we finally were like, okay, I was like, this is the time when we should be taking a rest. It was like almost 2 or something, or 1:30. But we hadn't done any of the World Showcase. We hadn't done any of the rides at the front besides the ones on that one side, and I was just like, I don't know, let's at least like take a peek. And so we kind of like walked over near Canada, and it was just packed. Like all the food booths were just swarming with people, and Ron was kind of like, he needed to like take a breather, so he kind of went and just like people watched for a little while. And Zoe and I went into Canada, and we watched the Canada show in there. That's like a 360-degree video.
Did you like that?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. It was neat how it talked about all the regions of Canada and showed all that. It was probably like 15 minutes, 10 or 15. It was kind of long, and there's no seats. You just have to stand and like look. But it was a neat theater, and it was pretty back there. They had like a waterfall and a little garden and stuff. We didn't end up buying anything. I wanted to get the maple popcorn, but I think I had forgotten to bring the popcorn bucket. We did buy the Mickey skeleton bucket at the party.
Oh, cute.
It was so cute. And then the whole trip, people kept going, where did you get that bucket?
Yeah.
I was like, I got it during the party. I'm sorry. And I guess they were selling out like crazy, but we ended up getting it at that one that's in Adventureland. That's like between the Jungle Cruise and Pirates over there. Seems like they never have a big line, and they always have like a fun popcorn bucket. So we just grabbed it there, but it was kind of a pain to carry that one around because it was huge, but didn't hold very much. It basically held like half a box of the refill. And so
yeah, it looks so small.
Yeah, and I think you can just ask for the box, the whole box, and then like, you know, show them that you have the bucket.
Mhm.
But sometimes they ask for the bucket and want to fill it, so it was kind of like hit or miss.
Mhm.
But it, and I had meant to bring one of our buckets from home and was like, I don't know how I'm going to fit this in my suitcase, which was already bulging. And then I didn't really want to carry it on the plane, so I just was like, oh, we'll probably want to buy a Halloween one anyway. So,
Mhm.
so anyway, after that, we finally found Ron, and like Zoe was done for, and she was just like, my foot is hurting, and I want to go back. And I had the Guardians. So, like, the time that I had bought was for $125 to $225, and it was $15. I was like, well, I really need to do this individual lightning lane that I bought. So, you guys can wait for me, or you can just take her. And he decided to just take her, and probably good because it was like a really long wait.
Mhm.
Probably like 20 minutes I was in there, something like that. And it was just really crazy. Like, I was like not prepared. I was scared I was going to get motion sick, and I did have my patch on. And I didn't really get motion sick. It was just so terrifying to me. And I was just like, I cannot do this intense of a roller coaster. But the moving seats or something, I don't know. Somehow it really hurt my back. And I was just like, there's something weird with my back after that. I had just like a sharp pain kind of in my upper back.
Mhm.
And I was freaked out, like, what did I do? Because they have all those warnings when you're going in there, like, if you have back problems, blah, blah, blah. And I don't have, like, major back problems, but I do have, like, some lower back issues where I go to a chiropractor a lot.
Mhm.
But anyway, so I was like, oh my god, what did I do? Why did I write that? Oh my gosh. But the song was I Ran.
Mhm.
Which is kind of cool, but like it was just so crazy. Like I can never follow the story on those rides because you're like whipping through the air, and then they're like trying to show you video screens, and I'm like, is it better to close my eyes or keep them open and try to follow the story?
I definitely think, especially with that ride, you have to ride it more than once to really understand maybe the story or even know what's going on, because the first time you ride it, you're just like, what is happening?
Yes.
So it kind of is better if you keep riding it, because then you can understand it better.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it was probably not the best idea for me to do, but I did want to see, like, because everybody's like, this is my favorite ride of all time.
Mm-hmm.
But so after that, I went and took the bus back to the hotel, and then like by the time I got back, I was like, I thought we would go to the pool and stuff, and then Zoe was just like complaining about her ankle, and like she wanted to get a brace for it, or like they would just give her ice at the park, and he took her again at Epcot to get ice.
Mm-hmm.
I think they maybe had an ace bandage they could put on it, but I don't know. She was just whining about it enough that I was like, let's just take her to an urgent care. Then maybe if the doctor sees, there's nothing wrong with it, or maybe there was, it would just like appease her.
Yeah.
So Ron hates it when we do this because she has like these injuries a lot. And it's like a wrist or an ankle or a toe, like all this stuff. I don't know. She's just like really sensitive to that stuff. And so we did go to an urgent care that was like the closest one that took our insurance. And we had to take a lift. It was really close, maybe like 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like really nice. It was like they had there was really no one else in the waiting room, shockingly. But the waiting room was like humongous, and it had like iPads set up and like these workstations with like chargers and everything. I was like, wow, this is like a really nice urgent care.
Yeah.
And they x-rayed it. They didn't find anything. And she kind of told her they could wrap it with like the Coban stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they did that. And she was like whining that it was too tight or something. We ended up going to CVS that was right next to the urgent care and getting like a little brace and some Advil and stuff. So after that, I was like really tired and was like, let's just go to the hotel. And then we were kind of arguing about what to do because Zoe wanted to go back to Epcot and she wanted to do the World Showcase stuff. I was like, I don't know, your ankles hurt, I don't want to go there. Then you like start whining that you walked too far and need to go back because it's so far. So like we didn't even decide to go over there until it was like after 6. It was probably like 6:30. And then by the time we got on the bus, it was like 7. By the time we are walking into Epcot, it's like almost 7:30. Mm-hmm. So it was crazy to go back over there that late.
Yeah.
And I was able to schedule Remy, but like, the wait was so long, we had to wait for the DAS return time for like at least 60 minutes, maybe 90. And so it was like almost park closed when we could do that. And like by the time we walked all the way back to France, it was crazy. So we were just exhausted and like we did get to ride Remy's.
Did y'all like Remy's?
It was pretty cute. The screens really bother me, so I was kind of like, oh, this is a lot of screen stuff. I think Zoe liked it, but we got stopped like right before the last scene, and it was like at least 10 minutes, I think. Mm-hmm. And by the time we got out, it was like too late to do anything else. And the fireworks were starting. The food was all closing down. And we hadn't really gotten to have dinner. So it was really crazy. Mm-hmm. I was just like, this was way too much to cram in. So yeah, I felt like sad of like what have I done to this day? Like, I don't know. It started off late. It just like did not go as planned at all. And, that happens there. But I don't know. I think it was tough with not having a hotel near any of the parks. It's really hard to take an afternoon break and go back because it's just such an ordeal. And we had gotten used to like a Disneyland. It's so easy, like, oh yeah, we're just gonna rest for like 2 hours and then go back, and that worked out really nicely for us. But then I just had trouble. Like by the time I booked, there weren't that many hotels left, and then also they're crazy expensive, the ones that were close by. So I don't know. I wasn't willing to spend as much as we did in Disneyland for a hotel. So I was like, oh, we can deal with the moderate. We did it last year. And it's just tough with the busing. I think if you had a car, it would be a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. At some of the parks. Like Magic Kingdom, it's not. But yeah, like if you had a car at, or if you're just willing to do Lyft.
Yes. And yeah, it was kind of a toss-up because you know, we were like one parking lot width from the bus stop, but then to go to the main building, you have to go across the bridge, then through the. You can get a lift from the convention center, but we did it from the main building, which is like even further. Plus, you have to go up a level, like to the second floor, to get it. So it just seemed like a lot of work to save. I was like, is this saving any time?
Yeah, it's really interesting it doesn't take you back to the back buildings, because when I stayed at Riverside, our lift would take us directly to our building.
Yeah, I thought that too.
It's really weird.
I don't know.
I wonder if that's
they have that main tower, and that's like, I don't know. It's weird because I asked a couple of the drivers, like, can you take us to our building? And they were like, no, we have to drop you off at the lobby. And I was like, is that a new thing, or have they always done that there? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can find some information about that, because that is really interesting and good to know.
Yeah, because that would have been much simpler if they would pick us up.
But yeah, it's so hard taking afternoon breaks at Disney World just because the property is so big. Yeah, unless you're walking distance. And then even if your resort is walking distance to one park, it's not going to be to the other parks. And so it just makes it a little bit harder.
Yeah.
But a good option that is priced at a moderate, that's actually a deluxe level, is the Swan and Dolphin hotels. And they're walking distance to Hollywood and Epcot, and their price is a lot lower. And you get the perks of staying deluxe, but it's not a Disney hotel. So the employees are Marriott employees, and it kind of has a different vibe. Like, some people love it, but some people who stay there, they're like, it just doesn't have that Disney vibe because it is a Marriott hotel.
Yeah.
But you get like the extended evening hours. All the stuff a Disney hotel gets. So that might be a good option for y'all's next trip.
Yeah, that would be nice. So the next day, Saturday, I'd planned to do the Animal Kingdom in the morning and then Hollywood Studios in the evening. Saturday, we started off at Animal Kingdom, and we kind of got another late start. It was... I decided to go with just Zoe, and I kind of had to wake her up, and we got on the bus about 9, and I had some pre-selects. I think I did Dinosaur and I did Navi River for this one, and Zoe and Ron actually didn't even want to go to Animal Kingdom this time. They were kind of like, we don't need to. They didn't really like it that much last time. And so I was like, oh man, it's so pretty. And we basically only did half of it last time. We just got so tired because it's huge. But so since Zoe had done Indiana Jones, I told her, like, well, they have a ride the same track, and it has dinosaurs, and I was like, I don't know if you'll like it, but I think you should try it. And so I was curious about it too. So we did that, and it was kind of rough. It was it was like so dark, and with like, the dinosaurs were like not like super realistic to me, but still creepy because it was so dark, and it was, she was okay with it, but she did not want to do it again. She was like, okay, that was interesting.
It is so dark. Like, every time I ride that ride, I'm like, why is it so dark? But I think they don't want you to see how fake the dinosaurs look.
Yeah, that was so funny. And that was just kind of a weird land. Like, I can see why they're redoing it, because I was just like, this is just like a parking lot. Like, the place where the carnival games are, I was like, I feel like they need to do more over here. This is weird. Yeah. So we just like kind of looked around a little bit. We got some popcorn over there, and then we left pretty much. And I think Goofy was over there. He was doing a meet and greet in like a carnival kind of like carnival worker outfit or something over there. And she didn't want to do Triceratops spin. She just will not do those spinning in the air rides for some reason. So after that, we started walking. I really wanted to see the Nemo show, but they did not start doing them until I think it was 11 was the first one. And it was still only like probably 9:45 or something. So we kept walking into Asia, and then she decided she wanted to do the Kali River Rapids, which I was really shocked. She would not do the Grizzly River Run, and she wouldn't do Kali River last year when, like, Ron and I both had to do it by ourselves and stay with her. So all of a sudden she wanted to do it. So I was like, sweet. I always liked those when I was a kid, but even though it's like a weird theme and like not very long, it was still kind of fun. We didn't get super wet, luckily, but I had my rain jacket. She did not. She got a little bit wet. And then Ron ended up meeting us there basically when it was time for lunch, and I had scheduled a Yak and Yeti lunch. And we kind of had a little trouble because, like, when it was time for us to check in, Ron wasn't there yet, and they won't seat you without your whole party. And it was really busy in the lobby there. There were tons of people doing walk-up reservations and asking about it and stuff. So we probably had to wait in there for like 15 minutes. Like, after he arrived, then I had to tell them, like, okay, our whole party's here. But then there was like a huge stack of tickets they were seating. So that took a little bit. I thought the food was really good, but it was kind of like just general like Chinese restaurant food, kind of like a nicer, like P.F. Chang's style or something.
Yeah.
But I got like a honey chicken. It was really good. And then Ron got some shrimp thing. And Zoe got the chicken nuggets. And they were pretty good. They kind of looked like the sweet and sour chicken nuggets more than like a regular chicken nugget. And they were able to make fries. The fries were not on the menu, but he was like, oh yeah, we can make fries. So, oh yeah, Ron didn't get shrimp this time. He got the chicken tikka masala. He said it was really good. He likes Indian food, but I don't. So I did like more of the Chinese food. And then after we ate, so we wanted to do Kali River again. And there was basically no wait. I could just schedule a desk for it instantly. And actually, the first time we just went through standby. And I didn't realize the lightning lane for it is like in another area. It's like around the corner, and it says like lightning lane this way. It was really weird. So I didn't even know where we were supposed to go for it the first time.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if we scanned in for it or not. It was really weird because they had the little scanning poles like covered up with a little jacket thing. I don't know why. It was weird, but it was basically a walk-on. So after that, we needed to get to the other side of the park to do the Navi River, and I was like afraid of her getting too tired. We did do the Maharaji Jungle Trek while we were waiting for the DAS time to be available. And that was okay. I think we saw like one tiger and a Komodo dragon and maybe some monkeys or something like that. But it was a little bit longer than I thought. And then there was a room with like birds where the kids can do like find all the birds, and they give you like a little menu to show what they are and stuff. So we, since we did the river ride again, we missed the start of the Nemo show, and I was really irritated because that was the time when they take a break from doing hourly shows to having a 2-hour gap or something. And I was like, dang it, we're not going to be able to see it. and I had really wanted to do the animation class, and I didn't think we'd be able to make it out there and back and then have time to go back to the hotel, all of that. So we ended up just doing Navi River, and then I wanted to do the Mickey and Minnie picture because we hadn't seen them in their little safari outfits. We didn't do that last year. So we went to do that, and it was on the DAS list, but it was a really long line. We were in the lightning lane. It did not, I don't think it made any difference. They just put you all in one line.
Yeah.
And we waited a long time. They do a lot of interacting, as long as you want, basically, it seemed like.
Mm-hmm.
So we probably sat there for 20 minutes in this little tiny room. And then they were really cute and interactive. But we still haven't gotten the pictures. It was one of those where instead of the cast member tapping my band, they told me to tap this spot on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And it was on a little television or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it appeared to work and everything, but they never came in my app. And so I emailed twice to the PhotoPass, and I might have to call, but they sent me an email we got your email, and it may take us a while to find your pictures. And
yeah, it helps if you know what time in the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
I filled out all the stuff. It was between 2 and 3.
Yeah,
and,
they should be able to find
all this
it.
stuff, what we were wearing, and another photo from that day so they could identify us. And
Oh, that's good.
Hopefully they have enough info to find it. Yeah, so after that, we were we've got to get back. And I don't know, if it was just me, I would have just hopped to Hollywood Studios because it's such a trek to go back to the resort. And then we had to wait maybe 15 minutes for our bus to show up. And Zoe actually had a bunch of homework to do because she had been sick Monday and Tuesday with a cold, and then Wednesday we left, and so also Monday was a virtual day and not an actual vacation day. So she had so much to do, and I was we're bringing your laptop and you have to do homework. And of course she was not wanting to do homework on a break during a Disney trip. She was wanting to zombie out on Netflix, and I was okay, we gotta do some math.
Yeah.
So I was trying to make her do homework for this whole time we were resting, and we probably were at the room for 2 or 3 hours. And then I was we really have to get to Hollywood Studios if we're going to make our reservation for dinner, which was the Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater, and that was Zoe's request. And we ate there last year, and I thought it was just, an interesting experience, but not I would want to do it again. And she really thought it was awesome. So I was okay, I'll book it. And that was at 7:05, but they were really running behind at seating people. So we kind of checked in and noticed a ton of people there waiting outside. And then we asked her how long she thought it would be. She's well, we're just seeing the 6:30 people. And we were oh no.
Yeah.
So I was Zoe, let's go do Mickey and Minnie's while we're waiting. So I had scheduled that like as soon as we got in. And that's the bad part about the DAS. Like, you can't pre-schedule rides with it. You have to be in the park, and you have to be in that park.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't, just because we'd been at Animal Kingdom, we couldn't schedule it at Hollywood. So when we got in, it was kind of like, okay, what's going to be available quickly? And luckily I was able to get one that was sort of around the time when we had checked into the park.
Mm-hmm.
So we went and did that. Rob didn't want to do it because that one like kind of throws him around. He doesn't like it. So we just did that and went straight back to check on our reservation, and they seated us about 7:25. So, and we got like, Ron and I both got burgers this time, and they were gigantic. And so we ordered a Oreo shake. Like, they brought it before her meal, and she downed it. So of course she wasn't hungry.
Uh-huh.
And then she got chicken strips or something again, and fries, and she like was so full. So after that, it was like close to when the park was going to close. Like, I don't think we left the restaurant until 8:30.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my gosh. And I had wanted to see Fantasmic, was like the main reason for going over there that night. So we missed the first show because of the dinner timing not working out. I was hoping to catch the 8 o'clock, but because I was like, maybe we can check in early to the dining and be able to do the 8 o'clock Fantasmic. That did not work out at all. So the second showing is not till 9:30 after the park is already closed. So it was kind of like you can't do anything between for that 30 minutes. So she had said she wanted to do Rise again because she had like a really interesting experience in Disneyland. So I scheduled it, but she was like, I'm too full. And I was like, oh, come on. We've only got to do one ride here. You know, I was kind of pushing her. But then she like started complaining when we were like in the pre-shows. And she's like, my stomach hurts. I don't want to ride it. And I was like, oh, man. Because, you know, those characters are, like, into it.
Yeah.
They're, like, acting, like, seriously. I was like, I don't know how to get out of here, Zoe. And then finally, it was, like, the room before you go into the little pod where you're going to get on the cart, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, hey man, my daughter's not feeling well. We need to exit. And he kind of like was like, oh, okay. And he like got out of character and was like, I'll show you where to go.
Yeah.
So that was nice. I was afraid they were going to be like, you know, we do not allow anybody to leave this room.
Right.
Something. But luckily it was cool. And so I ended up being able to do it by myself. But then after that, I think she was feeling a little bit better. We walked all the way to that Fantasmic Theater. Oh my gosh, that is way back in there. We hadn't done it last year because we just were too tired. And once we got over there, where the Fantasmic sign is, I was like, oh, it's right here. And then it's like, you have to walk way farther after that.
Yep.
And then we had, like, a terrible experience where the show kept stopping.
That's crazy.
It was weird. Yeah, I've never heard anyone talk about that one being shut down or anything. And it wasn't raining. It was weird. Like, it started up and everything, and then they, like, paused it. They turn on all the lights and, like, have the announcement that there's a problem.
I wonder what it was. It's so interesting.
I don't know. It was so weird. And they did that twice. And the second time I was like, let's just go. This is not looking good.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, I had to go to the bathroom. And while I was in there, I heard them announce that it was, like, canceled. So then all the people start rushing out. And everyone's rushing for the buses and everything. So luckily we didn't have to wait very long. I think we got the first bus, but oh my gosh, that was really disappointing because it looked like it was going to be a neat show. We probably got to see 10 or 15 minutes. Like, we got to see the princess floats.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw, like, Aladdin and the Frozen part. And then after that, I think, is when it paused. But there were these girls behind us that were so hilarious. They were, like, 4 or 5. They were so excited. Every time a new carriage came out, they would just scream, like, the top of their lungs and start clapping and jumping up and down. We were like,
oh my god,
what is going on? Like, everyone kept looking back at them, like, staring, like, what are they doing? Because they were so loud.
That's pretty funny.
It was hilarious. Oh my gosh. So yeah, that was a really long day. And I was like, at that point, I was like, I don't know if I should have tried the park hopping business with this short of a trip and then with our hotel. Like, I feel like you have to have a hotel that has more than one transportation option to do that. It was just so much. So, yeah. So, let's see. I felt like we kind of, like, we did, we kind of had to cut short on Animal Kingdom. And I knew we were only going to have 3 full park days. So, just because I didn't really want to cut out a whole park, I decided to try the hoppers.
Yeah.
But Hollywood Studios, we, like, barely were in, I felt like, and we didn't get to do, like, any of the Toy Story rides. I really wanted to do at least Toy Story Mania, and then I would have done Slinky by myself, and they wouldn't have done Slinky, but, and then there wasn't really a ton of rides there that we liked, but we liked the shows, which they were pretty much all shut down by the time we even got there.
Yeah.
They shut down so early, so yeah, that was kind of a barely got any Hollywood Studios time. But Zoe kept saying, like, Mom, when we come back, I just want to do Magic Kingdom and Epcot. She, like, doesn't even want to do those 2 parks. So yeah, she was fine with not having much time there.
Yeah, I mean, if you kind of know what you want to do, it can make your trip smoother in the sense that you don't have to do the stuff that isn't, like, on the top of your list. And Magic Kingdom and Epcot, if you went and you did the park hopper, they're easy to get back and forth because you can just ride the monorail.
That's true.
So,
yeah.
Just something to think about.
So, Sunday I had scheduled Magic Kingdom. And I hadn't really planned on doing anything else because we had tickets to the Cirque de Soleil show at Disney Springs, the Drawn to Life show. But Zoe was still like, I want to go back to Epcot. And she kept asking about it. And I told her on Saturday we didn't have time. And then I was like, we can probably fit it in tomorrow night after the show, but we're going to be really tired. And she really wanted to do the Japan Pavilion gift shop and then the Frozen ride. So I, like, had this on my mind all morning, like, how are we going to get back to Epcot? And I even thought about changing our park reservation, but I had, like, all the pre-selects. I had canceled. Our lunch was supposed to be Skipper Canteen on that day, but I canceled it when we ate there Thursday. So I decided to do just quick service. But we had, like, I had decided to buy Genie that day, so maybe I could stack some of the Epcot rides. And then that ended up being overkill. Like, I also bought Seven Dwarfs so I could make sure and ride that because I really liked it last time.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened was the Epcot rides, like, the lightning lanes sold out or booked out so early. Like, I had checked it probably like 11 a.m. and I was like, okay, it doesn't say there's a lightning lane available for Frozen. What's going on? And I was like, it can't be sold out already. This is crazy. And it just was not. I kept like checking it, like maybe it'll pop back on, and it just did not open up. So I was like, great. That was really frustrating. And I was able to book like a bunch of rides at Magic Kingdom, but Zoe kind of petered out after lunch and didn't really want to ride that much. And so like my DAS rides were, I think the pre-selects were Pirates and Peter Pan. So she always loves Pirates, but she was disappointed that it's so much shorter than the Disneyland one.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, there's only one drop. This stinks. And
yeah.
it was like so noticeable after doing the other one.
Oh, yeah, it is.
It was so frustrating. But we ended up doing that. We left for the park about 8:45 this day. So another kind of late arrival. And this time I did the virtual queue. I was like right on top of it. I got number 27. And I was like, oh no, it's too soon. Because we were like still at the hotel room and they were on like, 10 to 20 or something.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh no. And then once again, Ron didn't come with us in the morning. And I needed him there, watch Zoe while I did Tron. And I was like, they're calling my boarding group. And at that point, like, my back was still hurting from Guardians. And I was like, I don't know if I should do it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what if something worse happens to my back? And also, I bought this really cute backpack that's like a Nightmare Before Christmas one from the Shop Disney. And it has, like, these metal, like, characters. It has the characters from the movie, like, this kind of 3D raised up on it. It's really cute. And it's bigger than a Loungefly. It holds quite a bit, but it's not, like, a full-size backpack still. But anyway, the straps on it are crummy. They're, like, just the really thin, like, seatbelt style band, like no padding. And so it was like, by this day, like digging into my shoulders, I was like, ugh, not feeling great. My feet were killing me from all the walking. I don't know. It was we were kind of a mess by this day. And so Zoe and I, we just went to Tomorrowland first because we hadn't really had time to eat breakfast. We just kind of were eating our groceries, like muffins and bananas and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And so we were kind of running out of our grocery order by this day too. And then she was like, can we get some breakfast? So I ordered this like sticky bun thing that was at the lunching pad, and she was hoping it was going to be like the garden grill bread, but it was not exactly the same. Mm-hmm. It was still pretty good. And then she wanted to ride the People Mover again. We did that. We did the Monsters Inc. laugh floor, which sadly we didn't make it to during the party because it was like supposed to be like a treat stop plus like a little bit different for Halloween. Mm-hmm. We didn't get to see it, but they had a really funny like show with the audience members. She liked that. So by the time we were done with that, Ron had made it to the park, and we were ready to do our Pirates scheduled ride. We went up in the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse, and then we did Pirates Lake back to back because Zoe she wanted to get a good picture on it because normally we forget about where the picture is and we're just like looking down or looking at our phone or something. I'm like almost always like scheduling the next ride and like staring at my phone, and then we're just looking weird. So we did that twice to get a picture, and then the second time we actually got in the first row so you could see us all.
Nice.
So that was cool. Yeah. Then we did Jungle Cruise again. And I decided to try Columbia Harbor House this time for lunch. And a lot of people really liked it and recommended that. I don't like seafood very much. Like, I'll do a fried fish, but that's about it. So I think Ron got like this kind of mixture sampler platter, and I think it had like shrimp, fish, and chicken, and hush puppies, and fries, something like that. And Zoe and I just got chicken, and it was pretty good. It wasn't like amazing, but it was kind of like a fast food type chicken strip. And we sat upstairs. It was pretty busy in there, but the mobile order was pretty fast. And they had a Halloween shake in there that I like didn't realize when I was ordering, but it's like blackberry, I think, and it has like a big donut on top. It was really good, and I was like, dang, I should have gotten that. I didn't see it till later. Let's see. So I was still trying to make the President's show, the Hall of Presidents, and went over there and kind of waited around in the lobby. And then they announced it was delayed. And like, on the app, it doesn't have like all the times for it. It was just kind of like, it's open from 9 to 6 or something. It didn't have like the hourly or 30-minute. I forget how long it was. So I was like, when is the next show supposed to be? And they were like, well, it's supposed to be like at 12:30, but it's delayed. And so I was like, okay. I had scheduled myself a lightning lane for Big Thunder because I didn't get to do that last year in World, and I really liked the Disneyland one. Sadly, this one was not as fun, but I like walked way over there to do that. And then I came back and I was like, are they doing the President's show? And he's like, no, it's still not going. And I was like, well, you can take her on some rides. And I don't know. She was just kind of like, no, I'm fine. Like, I was like, take her to Winnie the Pooh. I'd scheduled like that, and we had Peter Pan Chickadoo, The Little Mermaid. I had all the stuff. And then I was like, I've got to do the 7 Dwarves that I bought before we leave. And I think she was kind of like, just, I want to go to Epcot, and like didn't care. And I was like, we're going to be leaving tomorrow, you know?
Yeah.
She was just burned out. And so I got in line for 7 Dwarves, and then it broke down. And I was like, dang, should I wait and see? You know, it's always that.
Oh, yeah.
Do you bail out or do you wait it out? And since we were going to park hop, I was like, oh, man, I should probably just get out of line and then try to get my money back on it. But, like, as soon as I got up to the front and talked to the cast member, like, basically, as I was talking to her, they announced it was up again. I was like, what? And so I, like, walked back down there and wrote it. It was so weird. So then, after that, we ended up leaving, but because it was like right around 2:00 by then. And I was like, we really need to leave at 1:30 if we're going to go to Epcot before the show. We did not get away at that time. And like, then we were arguing over how to get there. Should we take a lift? Should we take the monorail? Should we take the bus? All this stuff. Oh my gosh, it was ridiculous. And so I was like, let's just take the monorail, go straight over there. And we were sitting there and we had like just missed it. And I'm like, no, it's probably going to take like 15 minutes to come back or more. And so then we bailed out and decided to call a Lyft. So we made it over there, but it was like, by the time we got there, Frozen was a 90-minute standby. So
Wow.
we did not have time to wait for the DAS.
Mm-hmm.
So I scheduled it anyway. And Zoe and I booked it to Japan like as fast as we could. And she like starts grabbing all these snacks and toys and stuff she wants in there. And gets a bunch of stuff. And then like basically as soon as we leave, I was like, we have to get to Disney Springs. And so we like find Ron. And we walk all the way back to the Lyft parking lot and take a Lyft to Disney Springs. And I was like, I'm going to die. Like, my feet are killing me. And this was the dumbest idea in the world. I was like, why did I agree to this? It was so crazy. And then, like, when we were running really late because it took so long to walk through Epcot. And then we had to wait for the lift like 10 minutes or more.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy, like, we said we're going to the theater. He thought we meant the AMC theater. He said that he'd been driving people to the movie theater all weekend to see the Taylor Swift concert. We were like, no, we are not going to that. We are going to the Cirque theater. Okay. So then he's like, oh, because he like pulls up and I was like, this is the wrong parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was over there by like Rainforest Cafe and everything. I was like, no, this is not it. And he's like, oh, okay. And then he had to drive like way around Disney Springs, which is like another 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And he drops us off. We were like 20 minutes late, and I like run up to the attendant. I'm like, can we still go in? Because, you know, sometimes on the theater shows, they like lock it down.
Yeah.
And you miss when they like shut the doors. He was like, yeah, it's fine. And so Zoe and I went in, but Ron got stopped by security, and his bag was setting it off almost every time. And somehow this time, my bag did not set it off. I don't think once. It was amazing.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. But then, so he was like, just go. And so we like ran up the stairs and ran in there. And so the guy was like pointing us where to go. I went to the wrong side. Like, you know how you can go to whichever section.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I went to the wrong section, but the right letter row. And I was like, oh, our seats are way over here. So we just sat down. And then after like 10 minutes, I'm like, where is Ron? Is he still at security? And like, I look over and I see him sitting by himself in our section. Like,
oh my gosh.
oh, whoops. I felt so bad. And then I'd already crawled over like 10 people. So I was like, we're just staying here. And Ron, like, sat there by himself. It was so ridiculous. We were all, like, mad because we were, like, rushing and late. And,
yes.
And then Zoe was, like, bored. I was like, no, I scheduled this because I thought she'd really love it.
Mm-hmm.
No, she was like, Mom, I don't know what's going on. It was, like, too abstract for her or something. I mean, I think she thought the stunts were kind of cool. Mm-hmm. But, like, it didn't have as many, like, it had more of a storyline than those shows usually do, and it was really kind of slow, and I don't know, it was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
but we had missed like probably 15 minutes. So we were kind of confused when we first got there. Like, what are these weird characters? So I think it was a neat show, but definitely we kind of messed it up for ourselves by arriving late. So, yeah. And then after that, we were all like hungry and tired. And Zoe was still wanting to go back to Epcot. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can face that park again. We were just like, I don't care what we haven't seen, we are done. And then we're just like, fine, we're not, we're leaving tomorrow. We have the park hopper. Let's just go back there to ride that one ride. I was like, this better be a good ride. And we I had scheduled like a couple things since I still had Genie. I scheduled Spaceship Earth, and like it had gone down multiple times.
It always goes down.
It. Yeah, and so, but like the multi-experience was only good for like, those little rides, like the boat rides and the dark rides, and so I still had the DAS that I'd scheduled when we were there earlier for Frozen. So I was just praying it like did not go down and the park didn't close on us, and because it was like, I think the show was around 90 minutes, maybe less, maybe more like 70 minutes. It was still kind of early, and I was going to have dinner. I had it scheduled at City Works, which was like right outside the theater. Because I was like, I'm not traipsing through Disney Springs. But Ron was kind of like, if you have any more dining reservations, please cancel it. Because he was like so tired of eating like huge meals. I was like, okay, fine. It's not like a must do. I just kind of did it for convenience. And so we went back to Epcot. We hadn't eaten dinner. And we rode Spaceship Earth. It broke down like while we were on it for a while. But I thought it was interesting. It was like one of the ones I sort of remembered as a kid, but like I couldn't remember the details of it, just like going through it I remembered. So that was kind of cool because it had a lot of stuff we had covered in history, like when we were doing homeschool a couple years ago. So that was kind of fun. And then what did we do after that? I'm trying to remember. I think we just went back to try to do. We stopped by the Mexico Pavilion, and we did the Grand Fiesta tour. That was kind of weird. That was what I was like, why do they not change this to Coco? Like, please update this.
Yes.
But yeah, we did that one. Then we went to Norway and we did the Frozen ride. It was cute. I wasn't expecting it to go backwards. That was interesting. So that was kind of fun. It was a little bit more thrilling, and Zoe liked that. And she wanted to do that one again, but the same problem. It was, an hour wait, so we couldn't repeat it immediately. And I was like, we have to get some food. So like we kind of all scattered to go to the food booth. Well, I went first to the bakery because I had to get the school bread there that everybody talks about, and I was like, I'm getting that school bread. So I got that, and Zoe wanted the huge Mickey cinnamon roll head in there. So then she had it in her mind that she wanted to get sushi. Because we had been in Japan. I was like, I don't think you're going to like it. Like, she doesn't like fish. She doesn't eat any adventurous food. And so I was like, fine, we can walk over to Japan and try to find some sushi. And then we like stopped at every booth and read the menu basically. And she's like, no, I don't want this. Ron ended up staying like basically right there, and I think he got something from the China booth. But like once we got there, she was like, I don't know, that looks gross. You know, like I read to her what's in it. I'm like, okay, it has this and this, and she's like, ew, can I just get the rice? And I was just like, oh my gosh. And like I had stopped to get something at the Italy booth, so I was starving, and then they were out of cheese. It was like the burrata cheese was supposed to be on the pasta with like meat sauce or something. I think it was meatballs and cheese. I was like, yeah, I'm getting that. And then they're like, sorry, we have no cheese. And I was like,
that's nice.
What? So I had to eat the other pasta dish, which was just okay. It like had some sort of sausage and like a cream sauce on it. And it was kind of cold, you know, as I'm like walking through, like shoveling it in my mouth. And then I finally got, like, we had basically passed so many booths, and we got to France, and I was like, we have gotten so far away from Norway, where Ron was still waiting for us, because he thought we were going to do Frozen again. And I was like, we're all the way in France. I got her a crate, because I was like, she'll, you know, probably eat this. It's kind of like a pancake. And I got her like a berry crepe, and we sat down and ate that. She barely ate any of it. She ate like half of it or less. And then she's like, I want to do Frozen again. I'm like, what? You know, it was like $8.50. I was like, oh my God. And the DAS that I was able to get, I think, was for $8.50. Park closes at 9. We like start speed walk / running back to Norway. And we get there like exactly at 9. The doors were already shut. The fireworks are starting. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. So we didn't get to do it. And I was like, we could stay here and try to do Remy. And she's like, no, I didn't like that much. And I'm like, okay. So we're just like walking out like dejected, like can barely feel our feet, and like and we ended up taking the bus. Luckily there was a bus there for our resort, and it was like probably 10 when we got back. We saw like 2 nights the fireworks at Epcot, but we didn't like stop to watch it. We were just walking through kind of like, let's get out of here. I don't care. And they were so loud, and that's kind of one thing that bothers Zoe. And so we didn't really stay, but they didn't seem like an awesome show. I don't know. Like the music didn't seem to kind of fit that well. I don't know. It was okay. And I did see, I forget who it was. We got a couple of the musicians. Yeah, it was like one of the older, like from the 80s guys, like Billy Idol maybe. But like I heard a couple of the songs that I recognized, but like we didn't stop to watch. And then I think the first night we were there, it was supposed to be Taylor Dane. But yeah, we didn't really go for that. So, yeah, we were tired, and we had to pack that night basically because we had a 10 a.m. flight. So it wasn't super early, but I wanted to get back in time for Zoe to finish her virtual work if she needed to.
Yeah.
I was trying to make her do it at the airport. She's like, Mom. And we did do we sent it for the clear pre-check thing, but there was still a huge line for it. And last year it went really fast, but this time we probably had to wait like 20 minutes in the security line plus maybe 10 to check our luggage in.
Mm-hmm.
And then we barely made it to the gate. It was like Zoe and I had stopped to go to the bathroom after we finally got through security, and Ron was already on the plane, and we were like just walking on by ourselves. It was crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it was close. And so we didn't get to sit together that time. I had to sit. There was one spot by Ron, and then I sat by myself.
Do you remember what time y'all got to the airport? Just for kind of context, how long it all took?
Let's see. We got there. We called Bell Services to come help us get all of our luggage over to the main building. We told them to come at 8:15, and they didn't show up till more like 8:30. And so we were really nervous in the lift.
Mm-hmm.
We were like, oh, we gotta get to the airport. I think it was like after 9 when we got to the airport.
Okay.
Like,
so yeah, y'all were definitely cutting it close.
Yeah, because we had planned to get to the airport at like 8:45, and it was more like 9:15, and we were like kind of freaking out. And I don't know, the airport is set up kind of weird there, where like for Southwest, you check in your luggage and go through security and everything, but you still have to take that tram to the other terminal. And it's not really clear that you're going to have to take a tram. Because, like, it shows all the other, we kept saying, like, well, we need to get to Terminal A, and it only says, like, B and C on all the signs. And then they're like, oh, yeah, you just wait here, and then you'll see it. You'll see the signs after you go through security. So it takes a while. And the security was kind of, like, not rude, but kind of, like, short with us. And, like, we were already rushing and trying to put everything on there. And, like, when we went through in Tulsa, they don't make you take out your electronics anymore, which is nice. But then there, they make you take out everything. And so I was, like, trying to find, like, Zoe's laptop and, like, the iPad and the phones and all this stuff. And then she was like, you need to take off your jacket. And I was like, yeah, I know. I was like, I'm getting to that. I tried to take off my shoes and all this other stuff. It was crazy. So I was kind of annoyed. But yeah, we definitely were cutting it too close. And the flight was pretty much on time. Both of our flights again. So it went pretty smoothly, but it was a little dicey there for a while.
Yes.
So yeah.
Well, that sounds like a really fun trip, even though there were some hiccups. There's always hiccups on Disney trips. Like, that's just the way Disney trips go. There's always going to be something that comes up. It's never going to be perfect and smooth.
Yeah.
But looking back on your trip, what was your least magical moment?
I think it was just, like, mainly the transportation, just dealing with the bus, the lift, kind of, like, just waiting on all of that. It felt like such a big barrier to get to the parks. And so, I don't know if that's just, like, the mindset that we had going in. Like, if you're prepared to, like, always leave 45 minutes ahead of time. And I was probably cutting it too close on a lot of that stuff. And then just, like, the Epcot situation was just so bad how we ended up crisscrossing that huge park, like, 4 times or something. It was just way too much.
What was your most magical moment?
Let's see. So the Garden Grill meal was really a highlight. And then like the interaction that we had with Figment was really fun that day, and that was kind of like everybody enjoyed it. It was kind of like a resting time also, but like just kind of some fun pictures.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I like character meet and greets. I think they're so fun. My family doesn't necessarily love them, but I think they're fun.
Yeah.
And like if you interact with them, you can get a really special moment.
Mm-hmm.
So, when is your next trip?
Our next trip is spring break, and we're doing Disney Cruise Line, and it's going to be a double dip stop at Castaway Cay, a stop at Nassau, and it's out of Fort Lauderdale. I believe it's on the Dream. So we're really excited. We haven't gone since 2015.
Oh, wow.
Zoe was 4, so.
Oh, y'all are going to love it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great trip. All right.
Hopefully, yes.
Well, thank you, as always, for coming on the show. It's always great to talk to you and hear about your trip tales.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you for listening today. I really appreciate you spending your time over here with us, and I hope this was just what you needed to hear today. I'm always looking for new guests for the podcast, so if you are traveling to any Disney park or cruise, see the show notes for more information about being on the show. Visit the show all around the web at DisneyTravelTales.com or find us on Instagram and Facebook at Disney Travel Tales. See pictures from the guests on their vacations, plus this is just a great way to stay up to date with all things related to the podcast and Disney travel in general. Join me next week with a brand new episode. So until then, this is Jenny, and may all your Disney travel dreams become a reality. Hi, this is Jenny, just popping on with some exciting news. I've started a Facebook group just for you. I'm really excited about this because not only will this be a great opportunity to get to know each other, but this is also a safe space to talk all things Disney. Members can share travel tips, resort tips, likes and dislikes, and the best part is this will give you an opportunity to talk to the guest on the show and ask them questions about their trips. I was trying to think of a fun name for us, and Disney Travel Tales Podcast Clubhouse came to mind. This is a private group, and of course, I will not allow anyone to be bullied or talked down to. I just want this space to be positive and fun. Check the show notes for a link to join, or just search Disney Travel Tales Podcast Clubhouse in Facebook. I can't wait to see you over there.